Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, folks. Go ahead and take your seats. We're so glad you're here. Welcome. What a good crowd. All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. Today is a celebration of our students, our faculty, alumni, staff partners, our community partners, whose work over the past year reminds us what it truly means to be in relationship with one another, what it means to be in relationship with communities and with this place we all share. And this year, that celebration carries added meaning. We are marking the 40th anniversary of the Swearer Center, a moment to reflect not only on what we have built, but also on the vision that made it possible and on the responsibility to honor the relationships that have sustained this work over the past 4 decades. What began as a bold idea in 1986 has become a defining characteristic of a Brown education. At the heart of the Swearer Center is a simple truth: that civic agency and community change happens through thoughtful engagement beyond ourselves, through deep reciprocal partnerships where the comfort and the certainty of our ideas are proven to be inadequate. This bold idea, started 40 years ago, has evolved from a single center to a university priority, driven in part by leadership that understands that community engagement is mission critical, that it is key to fully living up to our public purpose and essential to our academic excellence. This brings me to our first speaker. As president of Brown University, Christina H. Paxson has made community engagement a university priority, grounding our academic excellence in presence and partnership with our neighbors throughout Rhode Island. She has emphasized the importance of our engagement being grounded in mutuality and the time necessary to build trust with our partners in Providence and beyond. She uplifts the critical reality that Brown is not simply in Providence or even for Providence, but we are of Providence. Please join me in welcoming President Paxson.
Thank you, MJ, and welcome everybody. It's great to see so many people here for such a wonderful event. The Swearer Center has been fortunate to have wonderful directors over its 40 years. MJ, you are certainly one of them. Thank you for everything that you do. And from our current director to our founding director, I just want to recognize Susan Stroud. She is the founding director of the Swearer Center. She's joined us today. And Susan, thank you for coming back to Brown for this. So, as you know, we're here to celebrate 40 years of the Swearer Center. And you might think, okay, what's the big deal? There are probably lots of civic centers around or public service centers around the country that are celebrating 40 or 50 or 60 years. No, that's not true, because Brown was the first, as always. And no, I'm just kidding, but it was really the first formal center for public service on a college campus in this country. And that's a lot to be proud of. At the time of the center's founding, Howard Swearer said the following. He said, "We want Brown to be a community of compassionate people involved in serious intellectual pursuits, but never divorced from one of the principal purposes of education, to prepare young people for responsible citizenship." And at the time, that was a novel concept, but Howard Swearer had the vision to see civic engagement, community engagement, as a powerful, informative part of a Brown education. And it's been that way ever since. I want to just briefly highlight two reasons why now, 40 years later, this mission of responsible citizenship remains so critical to this university, but also to the nation and the world. I would say we need responsible civic engagement more than ever. Look at the challenges facing our society. I don't have to go into too much detail, but we see polarization and we see threats to democracy and intolerance and even hate leveled at people because of their races and religions and gender identities and nationalities. And so what do we need, right? We need fierce catalysts. We need well-informed citizens who fight to create peaceful and just and prosperous societies that work for everybody. And we need people who are innovative, because this work isn't easy, people who listen to different perspectives and who collaborate in developing groundbreaking solutions to pressing issues. So this is something that we need. I think the need is pretty urgent. Second, there are so many ways, and I think the students involved in the Swearer Center probably hear this all the time, to practice civic engagement in a democracy. We can be effective community builders. We can use data and facts to kind of reframe public dialogue. We can strengthen nonprofit organizations. We can work in the public sector. We can lead voter registration drives, and I have to say the Swearer Center has been marvelous at just that. We can run for office, and I hope some of you out there do just that. So there's so many ways that all of which works together, and it really improves the public good. It helps citizens see, and all people who live in this country see that they're part of something larger than themselves. And it makes the foundations of democracy even stronger. So that's what we're here for. You know, as Howard Swearer said, higher education should prepare students not just to acquire knowledge, but to apply that in ways that affect change and make the community, the nation, and the world even better. So the Swearer Center is a cornerstone of that. I'm very proud of it. But I won't say anything more, because there are people who can speak more eloquently about the importance of the Swearer Center and what it means than the students and faculty and administrators who are part of this work. So we have a short video. Please turn your attention to that. Thank you.
The Swearer Center is a place where students, faculty, community partners, staff come together to learn together, to think about community challenges and problems, and then develop ways to work together to solve those problems.
It's about actually going into communities, asking them what it is they need, and then co-devising and co-working different solutions to be able to work together.
Well, there are two really crucial actors in the founding of the center. Howard Swearer, who was the president at the time, his vision was to provide pathways for students who did want to be active in their communities to look and think beyond themselves, beyond the classroom. And then Susan Stroud, who was the founding director.
It was a time when higher education had put a very strong emphasis on preparing students for professions, but not preparing them for their lives as active and engaged citizens. The thinking behind this was we need to figure out ways on our own campuses and ways that we can collectively put an emphasis on the public purposes of higher education by engaging faculty and students in community-based research, teaching, and learning.
It's a continuation in many ways of what the center has demonstrated and evolved from over the last 40 years, catalyzing student learning, engaging and partnering with students who want to be agents of change.
I'm really interested in politics and how government can really help local communities and how people can get involved. This is really where the Swearer Center has allowed me to explore these interests through my own experimentation, through creating these community projects to help bring light to different social issues, to help at every step along the way be that connecting force between Brown students and the community organizations to really make their visions realities.
I designed my own community engaged course where students learn to teach dance for Parkinson's disease, and I designed my course at the nursing home. It was a really great experience, which just goes to show the power of community engagement. It can serve our youngest and oldest populations.
We will also continue faculty development and support to help them think about ways that they can, through courses and their own research, have an impact locally and in communities around the globe.
I have used several resources at the Swearer Center. I developed a course in community engaged research, partnering with different communities and having students come on different projects to develop their own community-based research project. The Swearer Center, they are just amazing resource for anything community engaged.
We will continue to deepen our engagement with the experts in Providence and Rhode Island and other far-flung places.
You're looking at tutoring and mentoring. You're looking at explorers. You're looking at workforce development, streamlining data systems, internships, family engagement, family communications. All of those things have been the relationship between not just community, but specifically Inspiring Minds and the Swearer Center.
I hope that in the future of 40 years, every single university in America has a Swearer Center or its equivalent.
I hope it continues for the next 40 years.
To be an incubator for both research and action.
It can continue to be a home for other students, a place to come to stop and learn and grow and feel like they're making an impact outside of Brown.
Let's work together to change the world so that there's more opportunity, more thriving, and that we are the ancestors that we would be proud of. Okay. Thank you for your attention. President Paxson, thank you for your remarks and for your continued leadership in advancing this work at Brown and throughout Rhode Island. So as you saw in the video, reflecting on 40 years of the Swearer Center is impossible without recognizing, and President Paxson mentioned, our founding director and the president at the time, Howard Swearer, whose vision it was to create a center, working with Susan really to turn what was an idea about engagement beyond ourselves, about civic learning, into, as President Paxson said, Brown being a leader in establishing a center like this on a college campus. So for Susan Stroud, I just want to spend a second to recognize, she's really embarrassed, but that's just it's the burden of it. I'm sorry. For Susan Stroud, her leadership at Brown and role as the founding the Swearer Center didn't just help launch the center. She went on to become the founding president of Campus Compact, helping to build a national coalition committed to the public purposes of higher education. Her work has extended across sectors and across the globe, from helping to shape the creation of AmeriCorps as a senior advisor to the White House, to founding innovations in civic participation, expanding opportunities for young people worldwide to engage in civic life. And throughout her career, from the Peace Corps to global philanthropy, she has remained deeply, deeply, deeply committed to a simple but powerful idea that engagement, when done with intention and integrity, can shape both the individual and society. But here at Brown, Susan, your legacy is foundational. And today, we are really grateful to get to honor you with you present. We're so glad you're here. And so will you join me just for a moment? I won't make you say anything, but please come up for just a moment. It's my honor to present a recognition with deep gratitude for your vision, leadership, and enduring impact. Your work did more than establish a center. It helped shape how this work takes root and how it has grown. And because of you, the work continues here at Brown and far beyond. Please join me in thanking Susan Stroud. So where Susan and Howard Swearer started this work 40 years ago, many of you in this room have carried forward. To our faculty and campus collaborators, thank you for embedding engagement into your teaching and research, for investing in students and communities in ways that expand what learning can be. To our community partners, thank you. You teach, guide, challenge, and inspire. You make space for growth while carrying forward your own essential work. Your leadership, your knowledge of place, and your commitment to community are what makes this work meaningful and lasting. We know these times are complex, and we know that partnership requires more than good intentions. It requires trust, accountability, and a commitment to mutuality. And we are here for it. And finally, to our graduating seniors, congratulations. It is a joy to celebrate this milestone with you, especially in a year that reminds us how much legacy and continuity and community matter. Through your work, whether in classrooms, in community spaces, or through the Swearer Center, you have modeled what it looks like to engage with care, to build trust across difference, and to approach this work with humility and purpose. We want you to embrace your power, not as armchair quarterbacks or solo heroes, but as neighbors and collaborators. Real change isn't found in critique or deconstruction alone. It is found in the messy, difficult, essential give and take of human relationship. You've modeled that in your work with the Swearer Center and with community. You are part of a larger story, one that began before you arrived and will continue long after you leave. And this year, that story includes 2 additional milestones. In addition to our 40th, this is the 30th anniversary of the Royce Fellowship, which is an undergraduate research fellowship where students can engage with community partners around issues of concern. And the 10th anniversary of the Bonner Fellowship, which is a 4-year deep partnership between incoming students who stay with the Swearer Center and community partners for all 4 years on campus. These programs, along with others, and the students who move through them, are a powerful expression of what this center was built to do. So students and community members, as you step forward, I hope that all of us carry with us the deep sense of responsibility to something larger than yourself. Today, as we mark 40 years, we celebrate not just our history, but a commitment to engagement as central to learning and a belief that partnership is the path to knowledge and change. Let's celebrate the work that brought us here and honor the people that make it possible. Let's keep it going with care and courage and always, always, always with community. So now I'm excited to begin recognizing the outstanding contributions of our students, our faculty, and community partners through today's awards. I'd like to invite Joshua Rodriguez, our Associate Director of Co-Curricular Learning, to come up to present the first award.
I'm here to present the first award, the Derek Canfield Barker Student Leadership Award, which recognizes graduating seniors who have helped the Swearer Center internally to expand its work, reach more students, and improve our efforts to work with a diverse range of students, faculty, and community members. This year, the award is being presented to 2 students, and I would like to invite the first recipient to the stage, Percy Unger. So Percy, I'm going to share a few words. So Percy has a type of spirit for civic engagement that is akin to one that athletes have for their school team. They embody a passion for championing civic participation for all people. As a member of Brown Votes, a nonpartisan university-wide collective impact initiative committed to fostering democratic participation across campus and beyond, she dedicates several hours of the day and evenings to supporting voter literacy and registration efforts on and off campus. As a civic engagement fellow at the Swear Center, Percy led her peers in developing a strategy for Brown to engage his campus and becoming more civically active, and served as a connector, helping to formalize lasting partnerships with Greek life and athletics. We thank you for that, by the way. In addition, Percy holds a deep care for the outdoors. Her work in relation to the outdoors has involved direct service such as trash pickups, community pickups, and leading advocacy efforts through the Rhode Island Climate Action Group. I'm so grateful that Percy has dedicated her time and efforts in supporting such important initiatives in our community. Again, thank you so much. Percy, almost. Your time has deserved an award. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite my colleagues, Jessica Pontarelli Evans and Savannah Illinger, up to recognize the next recipient.
Thanks, Josh. It is a real privilege to present the next Derek Canfield Barker Student Leadership Award to William French. William, will you please join us? As Josh shared, this award recognizes a graduating senior who has not only contributed to the Swearer Center, but has also helped it grow, and William has done exactly that. Since his sophomore year, William has been a cherished core member of our communications team, but Student Worker doesn't quite capture his role. He has been a true thought partner in how we tell the story of community-engaged learning. He helped launch what is now one of our most impactful storytelling efforts, Amplify Student Voices, a series that surfaces the depth, complexity, and connection of students' work in the community. Through his interviews, William doesn't just document student experiences, he crafts stories that have made our work more visible, more accessible, and more connected across the Brown community and beyond. He brings a quiet consistency, an essential part of his ability to create genuine relationship building that makes the people around him better and the work stronger. I'm gonna keep you up here, we're gonna keep talking.
Hi friends. Well, as Jess was saying, William's leadership and his impact extend beyond communications. Through his coursework and his role as a fellow with Women's Refugee Care, William has been deeply engaged in community-based work, supporting refugee families, translating critical materials, and helping strengthen a long-standing partnership here in Providence. He shows up to campus and community spaces with genuine care, building trust, asking thoughtful questions, and often bringing a sense of fun and connection, and sometimes cookies. And this is what characterizes so much of William's leadership and his relationships: care. Care in how he listens, care in how he represents other stories, care in how he builds relationships with students, staff, and community partners alike. It has been a genuine joy for Jess and me to work with William over the past 3 years. He's thoughtful, reliable, deeply generous, and just a joy to know and learn from. William, your leadership has left a real mark on the Swearer Center, not just in what you've created, but in the relationships you've built and how you've helped us connect and grow at the Swearer Center. We're incredibly grateful and very excited to see what comes next. Thank you. Pardon me. I'd like to invite Dr. Rahul Abid up to recognize the next award. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I was just waiting. So the next award is Abelardo Hernandez Community Engagement Award, and this one is given to for Community Engagement Award recognizes one graduating senior who has worked with a community partner for more than 2 years, building strong relationships with community members and practitioners, and adding significant capacity to the partner's work. With an eye towards sustainability beyond their own role, the award is named after Alberto Hernandez, a former Swearer Center team member and program support for the Brown Elementary After School Mentoring Program. So I would like to invite the recipient, Yui Miura, to join me on the stage. So, Yui is a student from Tokyo, Japan, studying biology at Brown. Yui supports refugee communities in the Providence area through her involvement with Brown Refugee Youth Tutoring and Enrichment, or BRIGHT program. Since her freshman year, she has been serving as a volunteer as a volunteer tutor for a Syrian family and Syrian immigrant family, supporting both their academic and personal development in the USA. Beyond Providence, since her sophomore year, Yui has been working with me and my global non-profit organization, healthcare organization called Health and Education for All, which short name is HIFA, that provides free healthcare to 1.1 million Rohingya refugees and ethnic persecuted refugees from Myanmar who have been living in Bangladesh for last 8 years. Last winter, Yui spent almost a month in the Rohingya refugee camps and working with those 2 health clinic centers, medical team members. And what she did is not only just experiencing the refugee healthcare, she conducted field work, including collecting interview data on children and adolescent mental health issues. Yui has edited and published the annual health report, which is a huge health report for a big organization, and built partnerships and contributed to research on Rohingya pediatric malnutrition. And as you know, that malnutrition is a serious crisis in the Rohingya refugee camps because of withdrawal and reduction in the funding, global funding. So she also developed and delivered educational materials and distributed them to healthcare providers back in the camp after her visit. And Yui has founded, not only that, Yui has founded and co-leads a Brown University chapter of students chapter of HIFA, which has more than 50 undergrad students as a member. And she organizes fundraising events, selling keychains made by the Rohingya refugees from the camps, and also does advocacy work through her teaching sessions at Brown. So I'm really, really proud to present her this award, and really proud of her humanitarian and benevolent work for the people who need it most, not only in Providence and Rhode Island, and globally. Beyond. So next, I would like to invite Sandy Suarez up to recognize the next awardee.
The Engage Scholarship Award for undergraduate students recognizes a graduating senior who has made Community Engage Scholarship integral to their undergrad experience. This year, this award is being presented to 2 students. I would like to invite the first recipient to the stage, Josue Morales. So I am beyond honored to be able to present this year's Engage Scholarship Award to someone who truly lives this work, Josue. I can still remember our first email encounter and you being presented as Josue from LA. And for whatever reason, that just stuck with me. Not just because it rhymed or because it was honestly just fun to say, but because it fully captured how Josue shows up. Josue is deeply rooted in who he is and where he comes from, and he carries that with him in every space he's in. Through his work as an Engaged Scholarship Certificate student, a Royce Fellow, and a Swearer Center peer advisor, Josue has consistently shown what it looks like to connect learning with action in really thoughtful ways. His work exploring ways of life in Oaxaca, Mexico, reflects deep reverence for community knowledge and lived experience. And across everything he does, whether it's research, peer mentorship, leading fundraising efforts for local community organizations, or his Royce work, creating a documentary film sharing the stories of the community, he's thinking about how to do this work with community, not for it. That intentionality really matters at the end of the day, and you can feel it in how he moves. In fact, Josue is so committed to service and action that right after this ceremony, he'll be heading off to meet with students he regularly mentors and tutors in the community. And if that does not exemplify commitment, passion, and humility and engaged scholarship, then I'm not quite sure what does. Lastly, Josue has also shared with us that this recognition isn't his alone. It belongs to his hometown of San Jeronimo, Tlacochuaya, and his family, including his tío Paco, who have shaped not only his work, but himself, while continuing to guide him as he continues into the world of public service. In his project in Oaxaca and others over the course of his time here at Brown, he has really modeled what true partnership can look like, centering community knowledge, deep connection, and shared learning. That kind of grounding, that kind of sense of responsibility to community, that's what Engaged Scholarship is truly about. So Josue, thank you for all that you've given to this community and for reminding us what it looks like to carry your people with you in everything you do. Congratulations, we're truly proud of you. At this time, we want to recognize the next recipient for the Engaged Scholarship Award, in which we present to Rishika Kartik. Rishika, please come on up and join me on stage to receive your award. At Brown, Rishika designed her own concentration in disability and design, a rigorous integration of biology, art, engineering, and disability studies dedicated to reimagining how healthcare systems serve the blind and disabled communities. Community engagement has been the heartbeat of her scholarship from day one. As a Royce Fellow, she collaborated with Hasbro Children's Eye Clinic to create a tactile wall art installation that serves as a therapeutic component of the healing environment, as well as a map that helps children navigate the clinic. At Brown, she has worked tirelessly to embed disability justice into the curriculum. She helped develop the graduate-level disability studies coursework at the Warren Alpert Medical School, and she created and co-taught 2 undergraduate courses on accessibility, blindness, arts and media, and gero design. She also left a permanent mark on our campus landscape with an interactive art installation at Angel and Thayer Streets, designed to spark dialogue and bring the gap between our city's blind and sighted communities. Beyond the classroom, Rishika has stepped into the public eye with a TED Talk on accessibility that has reached millions and is now a staple in special education training for K-12 teachers across several states. She has handled this visibility with humility and grace, consistently centering the community above her own platform. Furthermore, her scholarly insights are published in the Braille Monitor and the Journal of Visual Impairment and Blindness, and she has shared her research at the national and international conferences to improve global accessibility. Her recognition as a Schwarzman Scholar, Newman Civic Fellow, and United Nations Millennium Fellow reflects leadership on an exceptional scale. Yet, these achievements reflect an ambition not for herself, but for the community with whom she works. Rishika is a bridge builder, weaving together artists, activists, physicians, engineers, and policymakers into a unified force for a more accessible world. As Maurice Perret at the Hopono Center for Blind writes, Rishika is sorely needed in the global disabilities rights field To support her is to support us. She's grounded in the legacy of blind leaders, understands her role as a sighted ally, and has the rare capacity to both build trust and build systems. Her commitment, creativity, and depth of thought make her an exceptional scholar and future global leader. Congratulations, Rishika. I'd like to now invite Indana Spears, practitioner in residence for tribal engagement, and Ruth Torres, tribal community member in residence, up to recognize the next awardee.
Thank you, Sandy. Yat'e, and good afternoon. What a joy it is to be here with this community today in a celebration acknowledging that excellence in scholarship requires kinship. And our next awardee embodies that ethos in all that he does. It's an honor to present the Engaged Scholarship Award to graduate student Chase Breyer. Chukma, Chase, will you join us on stage? The Engaged Scholarship Award for graduate students recognizes a Brown graduate student who has made community engaged scholarship integral to their graduate experience. And Chase has not just made scholarship integral to his own experience. In the cultural values true to his Chickasaw ways of being, Chase has reciprocally generated scholarship and knowledge that is meaningful and relevant with and for Indigenous and Two-Spirit LGBTQ+ networks of kin. Chase is a beautiful example of how generating new knowledge aligned with our traditional forms of knowledge can be an expression of love, healing, and survivance for our Native communities and tribal nations. And on a personal note, as a Native mother of Native children in this landscape, I cannot express how much it means to witness the processes of reclaiming our Indigenous knowledges of gender, identity, and beinghood that Chase has contributed to. He truly is a gift to our future generations.
For 4 years, Chase has served as program coordinator for the Native American and Indigenous Studies Initiative, where he plays a central role in strengthening community engagement across the university. On campus, this is evidenced by his role as mentor to Indigenous students. With his advisor, Chase has worked on community-engaged projects with the Narragansett Indian Tribe, the state's only recognized tribal nation. Beyond the university, Chase's board service with Pride in Aging Rhode Island elevates the visibility of Two-Spirit elders and expanded intergenerational LGBTQ+ engagement statewide. Chase's dissertation centers on the lived experiences of Two-Spirit and Indigenous LGBTQ+ people living with HIV across the US and Canada, addressing a critical gap in aging, public health, and HIV scholarship. This work is guided at every stage by a community advisory board that shaped the study's design, recruitment, interpretation, and dissemination to ensure cultural accountability and community relevance. Heartfelt congratulations and our appreciation to you, Chase. I'd like to invite Victoria Miller Flowers, Assistant Director of Athletics, Community Engagement, and DEI, up to recognize the next awardee.
The Derek Canfield Barker Community Engaged Athletic Award recognizes a student who has participated in sports at Brown at the varsity or club level and has demonstrated a strong commitment to community impact, especially through engagement in the Providence community. I'd like to welcome the recipient, Lexi Pellegrino, up on the stage with me. It is truly an incredible honor to be here to present the next award to someone who over the years I have grown to love, respect, and truly admire. Of the many student athletes that I've had the absolute pleasure of getting to know and work with, Lexi Pellegrino stands out as one of the most thoughtful and considerate individuals I have ever come across. In her sport of field hockey, Lexi has helped to rewrite the record books by placing third in all-time career goals, fourth all-time with 78 points, in addition to being a two-time All-East Region second-team selection and a two-time All-Ivy League honoree, which isn't easy. But her most significant contribution has been in her service to others and her lasting impact in their lives. She's volunteered at the Rhode Island Food Bank, served as an ambassador to the Vartan Gregorian School, traveled to Panama to build athletic courts for children, served as the community service co-chair for the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, has served as a leader in the Student Athlete Gay Alliance Affinity Group, and is a Bruno Cares teammate, part of an amazing group of student athletes trained to be peer-to-peer supports for other student athletes around mental health. And I definitely could go on and on and on. She is someone who leads by example and someone who truly gives without expecting anything in return. Her head coach stated that in addition to being vice captain this year, she served as her team's culture captain, a role responsible for maintaining the emotional heartbeat of the team, and that's Lexi to the core. She leads with her heart, she's honest, she's funny, she's a connector, and she's authentic above all else. To know Lexi is to love Lexi. I would clone her if I could. Lexi, if more people could learn to be as selfless, as hardworking, and as generous as you are, the world would truly be a better place. Next, I'd like to invite up the presenters for the faculty awards.
Hi, everybody. I'm delighted to present the two Howard R. Swearer Engaged Faculty Awards, which honor faculty at Brown whose scholarship engages community partners in reciprocal relationships to co-produce knowledge, high-impact learning experiences, and tangible public benefit. And first up is someone who used to be a student at Brown and is now a faculty member at Brown, Alex McAdoo, Assistant Professor of Epidemiology. Alex's research and teaching on harm reduction and overdose prevention engaged not only health practitioners, but also people with lived experience as partners. One of her nomination letters was written by 2 collaborators and endorsed by 15 others, which is, I think, a record for all the years we've been doing this award. They laud her, quote, consistent practice of showing up, listening, following through, and sharing power over time, not only when a grant or course requires it. They describe numerous ways in which she builds trust, keeps momentum, and makes people feel respected and excited to be part of the work. Professor and Chair of Epidemiology Katie Biello's nomination letter also cites Alex's research projects and publications that were grounded in deep partnerships, and notes her positive impact on students at Brown as well. Course feedback scores and reflections underscore her exceptional ability to create rigorous, community-centered learning environments that do not simply inform students, but meaningfully shape how they think, what they value, and the work they pursue. Please join me in honoring this outstanding colleague. Next, we'll recognize Eleni Sikoulianos, who is a professor of literary arts. And I forgot to mention, you can see on the screen the partners that they are working with. Eleni has worked with Vartan Gregorian Elementary School. Thanks for coming up. So Eleni has been nurturing and publishing the creative voices of people of all ages and experiences for decades. The first person in her immediate family to graduate from college, she believes in poetry as a liberatory tool for linguistic self-expression and autonomy. Prior to coming to Brown, she taught poetry in women's and men's prisons, was a poet in residence at public schools, libraries, and homeless shelters, and founded and directed a Writers in the Schools program at the University of Denver. At Brown, she has taught writers in the community training and residencies and focused on collaborating with local K-12 schools. Nominator Michael Ritchie, a 5th grade teacher, started working with Eleni and students virtually during COVID. At a time when engaging students was particularly challenging, and since then, the weekly sessions have proved powerful. As he testified, students who normally struggled with writing flourished with poetry. The positive impact carried over into their regular classwork. Events with live readings and distribution of anthologies of the children's poetry also strengthened the bonds among teachers, students, and families. 2 Brown alumni nominators were also inspired and prepared to continue writing and teaching in communities by Eleni's example of conscientious, culturally informed instruction, and by the 5th grade students and their literary development. Again, please join me in recognizing Eleni. And next, Ashley Green and Juan Wilson Jr. will present our Community Advisory Board Awards.
Thank you, Julie, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm truly honored to be presenting this afternoon's Community Advisory Board Awards. These awards recognize and celebrate the dedication, innovation, and profound impact of local organizations that are actively working to address critical social issues and promote positive change. These awards specifically recognize community-based agencies that demonstrate creative, collaborative, and equity-focused approaches to serving local populations. Each year we receive dozens and dozens and dozens of nominations, highlighting organizations doing truly transformative work. Over the last 5 years, in fact, 16 organizations have received these awards. I can't see the screens, but hopefully you can see some of the names and logos of past recipients. We're truly grateful for all of our past recipients. As I look out at the crowd, I know a number of them were able to join to celebrate with us today. And I'm going to invite the room to join me in a round of applause, just in recognizing everyone who's received a Community Advisory Board Award in the past. So that brings us to this year, where we will be recognizing 4 additional organizations as CAB awardees. And I'm going to turn the mic over to my colleague Juan Wilson to tell us a bit about a special additional recognition that this year's 4 awardees will be receiving.
Hello everybody, my name is Juan Wilson. I'm the founder of the Muse Foundation of Rhode Island. And we're excited to actually join the Swearer Center and recognizing the 2026 Community Advisory Awardees. For those of you who may not be familiar with the Muse of RI, that's what we call it in short, we are a philanthropic organization focused on enriching communities through education and inspiration, empowering them through advocacy and action, and equipping them with essential resources and networks. Muse of RI is dedicated to fostering creativity and innovation through philanthropic initiatives, while also demystifying philanthropy for underrepresented communities. Through this work, we seek to make philanthropy more accessible to community and community-centered and action-oriented community organizations. As part of this commitment, we are excited to offer an additional $500 cash award to each of the 4 community organizations being recognized today. In addition to the monetary award, Muse of Rhode is committed to collaborating with each organization to raise awareness about their mission and to bring greater visibility to the ways they enrich, empower, and equip communities through their work. We are honored to stand alongside the Swearer Center and celebrating these organizations, their leadership, and their continued impact across Rhode Island.
So with that, I'm thrilled to announce and invite to the stage our first Community Advisory Board awardee, the 02907 Health Equity Zone. I'd like to invite Jessica Thigpen, HES Program Director, Naomi Lopez, Community Health Worker, Denise Green, and other members of the HES CAT and collaborative team to the stage. So the 02907 HES is a mobilized community of residents, community organizations, and health professionals who come together to address root causes of health disparities so that 02907 families and community members have the opportunity and resources they need to live healthy, prosperous, and fulfilling lives. The 02907 HES practices a deep commitment to resident leadership and grassroots collaboration, especially through its community action team, I believe affectionately known as the HES CAT. I think that's a particularly cool name. Through the HES CAT and the HES as a whole, residents are not just participants. They are decision makers and leaders who ensure that community voice guides the HES priorities. They've maintained steadfast commitment to their mission through challenges and uncertainty, and their resilience has resulted in strengthened partnerships and increased resident-led advocacy. As one of their nominators noted, the strength of the 02907 HES lies in the determination and leadership of the residents who power it. We're really thrilled to recognize you all today as a 2026 CAB awardee. Please join me, everyone, in congratulating the 02907 Health Equity Zone. Get in here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Our next awardee is the African American Museum of Rhode Island. I'd like to invite Dr. Christopher West, Executive Director, to the stage while I tell you more about the museum. The African American Museum of and the team of the African American Museum of Rhode Island. AAMRI is dedicated to preserving, interpreting, and sharing the stories of African American life in Rhode Island. Their work will ensure that experiences, contribution, and voices of African Americans are documented and celebrated in spaces where history is made accessible, meaningful, and feels connected to the present. Their innovative living museum model integrates intergenerational connection, youth-led research, workforce development, and digital preservation. They're really doing amazing things. It recognizes and integrates the vast collections of material culture, community memory, and organic historians that already live in Rhode Island. We're really honored to recognize the African American Museum of Rhode Island today for their commitment to preservation, community collaboration, and to the honoring of the diverse African diaspora represented in Rhode Island's history. Please join me in recognizing and congratulating them today. The next organization we're recognizing is Beautiful Day. Beatrice Akay, Youth Program Manager, Rebecca Garland, Associate Director, please join us on stage. Beautiful Day provides paid on-the-job training to support refugees from diverse backgrounds to gain critical job skills and confidence as they navigate the job market. They've worked with over 600 refugees representing 14 nationalities and 20 ethnicities. They provide training support to both youth and adults. And their program boasts an extremely strong success rate, with 80% of graduates of their job training program able to secure permanent employment that allows them to support themselves, their families, and contribute to their communities and the wider economy. The products that Beautiful Day produces, which I hope many, if not all of you, are familiar with, also help to bring awareness to the refugee crisis, and frankly provides a very practical way that all of us, any of us, can help to support the members of our community who have experienced displacement and those who are working to build strong and welcoming communities for them. Please join me in congratulating and recognizing the team from Beautiful Day. Our final Community Advisory Board awardee this afternoon is Mini Entrepreneurs of Rhode Island. Sarah Montero, please join us on stage to receive the award. Mini Entrepreneurs of Rhode Island, or MERI, aims to empower the next generation of leaders by providing children ages 4 to 16 with a solid foundation in entrepreneurship education. MERI's model integrates interactive workshops, mentorship from experienced business owners, and real-world exposure to the practical aspects of running a business. Their participants are able to learn new skills and showcase their ideas and talents through summer camps, after-school programs, pop-up events, and their signature events, which hopefully all of you will look out for this year, their annual Mini Kids Entrepreneurship Fair. MERI also engages parents and families as critical collaborators and support for the young entrepreneurs as they pursue their entrepreneurial endeavors. Parents and family become that first model for teamwork, shared learning, and collaborative creativity. Overall, MERI provides experiences that contribute to positive transformation for the young people who participate and helps them to build skills that they can take into many different areas of their lives. We're truly excited to recognize you all today and to support you as you continue to do your work and engage more young people going forward. Join me in congratulating MERI. Can we have one final round of applause for all of our Community Advisory Board Award winners today? And a special thanks for the Muse Foundation and its partnership this year and recognition and additional support of all of the critical work that these organizations are doing. Now I'd like to invite my colleague Georgina Manook up to give our closing remarks.
Someone's phone. Hello. Thank you, Ashley, and congratulations again to all of our award winners. We also want to acknowledge 2 staff members who will be leaving the Swearer Center in the next few weeks. Dan Turner, our Associate Director for the Community Engaged Data and Evaluation Collaborative, CDEC. Dan, you've built this collaborative to be one of the highest impact practices of the Swearer Center, along with a network of partners on campus. And Jessica Science Gomez. Twice alumna of Brown University, she has been a Bonner Fellow with the Swearer Center throughout her undergraduate years, a GA for Community Engaged Learning during her MPA program, and a staff member leading the Bonner Fellowship into more sustainability and impact since 2024. Jessica and Dan, you are leaving a huge mark on our local community, our students, and our team. We will miss you dearly and wish you both the very best. We also hope you'll come back to join our future events and celebrations, like many wonderful staff alums with us today. We would also like to take a moment to thank all of those who helped make today possible. The whole Swearer Center staff, especially Asia Stevens, Jessica Pontarelli, and Savannah Illinger, Sandy Suarez, who coordinated our student awards, Julie Plout for stewarding our faculty awards. It's great. It feels like you're clapping at me. It's really nice. Ashley Green and our Community Advisory Board for Community Partner Awards. Jen Heim from Event Support. Ashley McCabe, our photographer. Nikki and Matt from NESP, who provided the photo booth and tech support today. Paul behind our live stream camera, and Mike from Brown Media Services for our live stream support. And Amos House More Than a Meal who are our wonderful caterers with the amazing food today. There's a few flyers around on the smaller tables. Please learn more about them. And we will ask all award recipients to take a photo outside the tent on this side when we are done. Well, we want to make time for this joy and celebration and focus on our rest and recuperation. We also want to invoke W.B.E. Du Bois's invitation. Now is the accepted time. Not tomorrow, not some more convenient season. It is today that our best work can be done. Exactly. And not some future day or future year. Happy 40th Swearer community. May the people celebrating our future anniversaries be proud of us. And with that, eat, mingle, take some photos in the photo booth, and enjoy yourselves. Thank you.